Hey guys, it's Jack Punkington here, and today we are checking out the Randall RH50T. It's part of the Randall RH series. There are 100 and 200. I've owned the 200, and it's a great amp. I've played on a 100. And they have a 300, which is like a hybrid. And then they have this. This is a 50 watt all tube head. Runs on EL34 power tubes. Kind of interesting because it's an American amp, so you'd expect 6L6, but with the EL34 it gives it more of a different sound. I think it's kind of a cool hybrid between British and American sound. 2 channels, but each channel has a boost and built-in reverb. So on the clean channel with the Les Paul, solid clean channel. Add a little bit of built-in reverb. Just fun little ditty stuff. Has now a boost function. Kind of gives it a cool breakup sound. If you want to add an overdrive, you get a crunch sound. Crunch sound with just like a little bit of a push. Now here's what is interesting about this amp is the gain channel. This is the first gain. What's interesting about it is that's just the first gain. It has a second gain channel or whatever. But if I really just hit the button to make it go to the second gain, which the second gain is turned up a little bit higher than the first, there's not a whole lot of difference, at least in my opinion. Maybe it gets a little bit more of a darker sound. Sound of the first gain channel. That's what I usually use. It's got a lot of gain on tap. You want to roll it down a little bit. I mean, this is almost no gain. That's a lot of gain for being rolled so far back. Here's halfway. Gets really saturated. Here's the gain all the way up. that extra push, I'll just use an overdrive pedal. But if you want to try it a different way, you can use the extra gain channel. So we'll roll the gain back on the second gain channel. I'm going to mess with a few controls here for EQ. The other thing I really like is the gain channel has its own separate volume control over pose the master. So you could roll down the master and roll up the channel. And you can really get that volume going. So you're kind of like, I almost want to say it's like fake pushing the tube, but I don't really think it does anything in terms of that. But maybe it does, who knows, I don't know. I'm not smart when it comes to that stuff. But, as I was saying, the gain, this is the gain at like 1. That's a third of the way up. Now let's compare that to where I have gain channel set at 1. So here's gain 2. Gain 1. I'd argue that this is just a little bit more gain because obviously I haven't rolled back. So if we put it about halfway, maybe this is where you'd say like gain 1 is at. So what happens when you push it past that point? Beep! So here's 3/4 of the way up. It's not a lot more saturated. It's not fuzzier. It's not overabundant. It's just a good boost. And I think the reason why it's like that is to make it so you don't have to have an overdrive pedal. Because honestly, if I were to have the gain channel set at exactly the same spot, this is going to have more gain. So it's a good boost. So instead of having an overdrive, and I'm going to do my rhythm. And then I want to do something leading or just push it. It's an interesting thing because they both are not overly heavy channels, and what I mean by that is if like you play something like a 6505, it's gonna have a ton of gain on tap. This has a lot of gain on tap, and maybe it's because of the different power tubes, but I love this. I love the way that it's set up. It is I almost want to say a perfect amount of gain because you're not pushing it to the point where it's just fuzz and it's just too much, but it's got a good amount of gain for your leads, for your rhythms, and like I said, honestly, you don't really need an overdrive pedal with this amp. If you do, like I have an overdrive pedal that is a overdrive and boost. I usually have them set as a mix, but it can be one or the other. So if I were to do this and just have it set as a boost, that's all I really need. Just enough to push it, not... And then, even with that boost on the second gain channel, it's pretty awesome. I gotta say, I'm impressed. Now, I've owned a few Randall amps, the RH100, the RD45, and then this twice, technically. And I think Randall really hit the nail on the head. These are kind of rare in the sense that I don't think they made a lot of them. And they probably weren't very popular. That's why. But I love it. You know, I mean, I think they go for like $350, $300. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it sounds great. The reverb is pretty cool. It's not like a lot of reverb. Pretty cool amp. I highly recommend it. If you do go for them, make sure they have the foot switch. A lot like a PV3120. They've got that weird like pin foot switch, but this has like 4 or 5 buttons on it. So I recommend checking these out. Anyway, Jack Punkington signing out. Peace, guys!